Okay, let's talk about crossovers. This is the 7 for Zephyr, which has, this song has one of my favorite 10s, but we're looking at the 7 today. We're talking about crossovers, which is something that used to be really hard for me. And the advice I'm about to give is stuff that I wish I knew when I started learning how to do crossovers. And even though I'm looking at 7, I think this is good advice for intermediate players as well. So let's just take a look at these in the beginning and see what's going on. The crossover is always on that sound. This song is so good. I think it boils down to maybe 3 things for me. One is that in order to play crossovers, you should use the entire length of time to turn your body. So taking a look at where we at here. This is a crossover consisting of playing this on the right, left, and then this is crossed on the right, hitting with your heels. So facing inwards. You should really be able to see. How do I delete here? When you're reading the screen, you should kind of be able to see this entire crossover pattern as one whole thing. And what you do is, by the time you already start playing this note, you're already starting to do the turn into this note, if that makes sense. Something that I used to do is that I'd hit this note and I was facing forward, and then I would hit this note and I'm still facing forward, and then by the time that I realized that this note is supposed to be crossed over, it's too late, and now I'm forced to like try to do a crossover in this amount of time, which is like really fast and really rapid, versus if I read slower, I could see that this crossover is coming up, and I can use this entire duration of time to turn. And that just allows you to take the turn slower, allows you to be more fluid. So another thing with that is that my advice number 2 is that if crossovers are catching you by surprise, you might need to read slower. Because, for example, if I sped this up, I mean, I don't know if anybody's actually reading it that fast, but in the context of this screen, of just these 2 notes, I don't know if there's a crossover. There's no context for me to understand like what's going on below here, right? So if you read slower, hello? How do I fix this? There we go. If you read slower, it allows you to put, the context of a crossover onto one screen. That way it's never surprising you. And then the last advice is just knowing if the chart you're playing has some sort of consistent sound cue. Like chart knowledge and studying the chart ahead of time never hurts. Like knowledge never hurts. So it's a good thing to look at charts ahead of time. That way crossovers never catch you off guard. And maybe it's not as big of a deal for Zephyr, but as the speeds and the complexity of the crossovers that you play starts to scale up, it's more likely that something might catch you by surprise. So studying ahead of time definitely helps. Kind of like what I was saying with the sound cues here. Yeah, and maybe once you know those sound cues, it's possible for you to read faster because you know how the music goes and you know where the crossovers are going to be ahead of time. There are more crossovers at the end, but I'll kind of leave it to you guys to play the chart for yourself. I know some of the content I've been doing has been a little bit on the harder end, so I wanted to jump back and do some more beginner content. So if that was helpful, please definitely leave a comment. If you want to see more, as usual, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.